and welcome to Call of the Unknown, the channel where forgotten stories rise from the dark and the impossible breathes just beyond the edge of sight. Tonight, we open a book that reads its reader, where knowledge isn't power, but transformation. And every page turns you into someone who existed in a different draft of time. Settle in. Some libraries don't preserve stories. They preserve the readers who couldn't stop turning pages.
There is a peculiar madness that comes from reading. Not the temporary insanity of a compelling story, but something deeper, more permanent. A transformation that occurs when words stop being symbols and become doors. When knowledge stops being information and becomes infection. The Arkham Public Library has stood on the corner of Crane and Pickman Streets since 1783. A Georgian building of red brick and white columns, it has survived fires, floods, and the slow erosion of time with a stubbornness that borders on supernatural. But its true age isn't measured in years. It's measured in the weight of books it contains. The accumulated mass of human knowledge pressed between covers, waiting to be opened. Harold Finch spent 43 years in that library, not as a visitor, as a custodian of its secrets. He began as a junior cataloger in 1981, fresh from library science graduate school, eager and idealistic. By 2024, he was the head librarian, a man so intertwined with the institution that visitors sometimes forgot he wasn't part of the architecture. He died on October 31, 2024, at the age of 68, but not from natural causes, not from disease or accident. Harold Finch died from reading a book that should never have been opened. A manuscript so dangerous that its very existence challenges everything we understand about knowledge, time, and the human capacity to comprehend. What makes this story stranger is that Harold knew exactly what would happen. He left behind journals, detailed records of his final months, and in those pages we can trace the moment when a dedicated librarian crossed the line between preserving knowledge and being consumed by it. This is his story, assembled from his journals, security footage, and the testimony of those who witnessed his final days. A warning about the price of curiosity, a testament to the terrible beauty of knowing too much, and a mystery that still haunts the silent halls of the Arkham Public Library. Because the book is still there, waiting, always waiting. Journal of Harold Finch, August 12, 2024. Found something unusual today during the reorganization of special collections. A manuscript misfiled in the 16th century holdings, though the binding suggests much older provenance. The catalog card lists it simply as De Vermis Mysteriis, Fragment 7, dated 1542. But the handwriting on the title page doesn't match the catalog description. And the ink appears fresh, as if written yesterday. I know this is impossible. The manuscript has been in the restricted section since at least 1923, according to the acquisition log. Yet when I touched the cover, the leather was warm. Not from my hand. It was already warm. I should report this to the conservation department, should have it examined by experts, but something made me hesitate. A feeling I can't quite name. Not fear exactly, more like recognition, as if the book had been waiting for me specifically. As if 43 years of faithful service were somehow preparation for this moment. I've decided to examine it personally first, just a preliminary review, to determine if it warrants further attention. That's what I tell myself, but the truth is simpler and more troubling. I want to read it, need to read it. The compulsion is unlike anything I've experienced, and I've spent my entire adult life surrounded by books. Tomorrow I'll begin, after the library closes, when I can give it my full attention without interruption. August 13th, 2024. I read the first 3 pages last night. My hands are still shaking as I write this, not from fear, though I should be afraid, from something else, excitement, revelation. I don't have the vocabulary for what I'm feeling. The text is written in Latin, but not the classical Latin I learned in university. This is older, stranger. The grammar shifts mid-sentence, following rules that seem to change based on content rather than convention. And the words themselves, some of them don't appear in any Latin dictionary I've consulted, yet I understand them perfectly, as if the manuscript is teaching me its language as I read. The content is disturbing. It describes something called the architecture of ages, not buildings or structures, but time itself. The text claims that linear time is an illusion, that past, present, and future exist simultaneously, like pages in a book, and that certain knowledge allows one to read backward and forward through one's own life. More unsettling, it includes specific instructions, a kind of meditation or mental exercise that supposedly allows the reader to perceive their own timeline, to see their past with perfect clarity and their future as probability waves, to become, in essence, a reader of their own story. I know I should stop. This is clearly some kind of occult text, possibly dangerous, probably fraudulent, but the language is so precise, so confident, and there's a part of me, the part that has spent a lifetime organizing and preserving knowledge, that wants to know if it's true. Just one more page, just to see where it goes. Then I'll report it properly, get it examined, catalogued correctly, moved to the most secure section of special collections. Just one more page. August 17th, 2024. I've read 53 pages now. I can't stop. The manuscript is teaching me things that shouldn't be possible to know. Mathematical formulas that describe consciousness, linguistic structures that map memory, diagrams of the human brain rendered with anatomical precision that wouldn't be achieved for another 400 years after the supposed publication date. And the exercises. Oh God, the exercises. I've been practicing the meditation techniques described in Chapter 3. Last night, I achieved something. A shift in perception. For just a moment, maybe 3 seconds, I could see my entire life laid out before me like a map. Not memories, actual events happening simultaneously. I was cataloging books at age 27, while simultaneously writing this journal entry at 68, while simultaneously being born, while simultaneously dying. All at once, all the same moment. The sensation was indescribable, terrifying and beautiful, like seeing a color that doesn't exist in the visible spectrum. When it ended, I was back in my apartment, my nose bleeding, my head pounding. But I wasn't afraid. I was exhilarated, because I had glimpsed it, the architecture of ages, the true shape of time. I need to go deeper. The manuscript promises that with practice, the perception can be extended, sustained, that one can learn to navigate their own timeline with the same ease one navigates a library, moving through memories not as fleeting recollections, but as actual places you can visit, revise, even rewrite. My hands are aging. I noticed it this morning. The skin is looser, more spotted. I'm 68, of course, I have age spots, but these are new, appearing overnight. And when I look closely, really closely, I can see them shifting, moving, as if my hands are aging and de-aging in rapid cycles, settling on some average state. I should be terrified. I'm not. I'm curious. The manuscript says this is normal. A side effect of perceiving multiple points in one's timeline simultaneously. The body doesn't know which age to be, so it flickers between them. It also says this is temporary. That once you master the architecture, you can choose which point to inhabit. Become any age you've ever been, or will be. I'm going to keep reading. August 24th, 2024. Something's wrong with my reflection. When I look in the mirror, I see myself at different ages, not sequentially, randomly. One moment I'm 68, the next I'm 42, then 17, then ancient, far older than I should ever get to be. 90, 100, my face wrinkled like crumpled paper, eyes sunken, skin like parchment. Then I'm young again, then middle-aged, then dead. I saw myself dead. For just a fraction of a second, my reflection showed a corpse, gray skin, empty eyes, and behind those eyes I could see something else, something that had been Harold Finch but was now just space, emptiness shaped like a person. The manuscript explains this. Chapter 7 discusses temporal synchronization. When you perceive your full timeline, your body tries to exist at all points simultaneously. The mirror shows this, reflects all possible states. The meditation should help me control it, focus on one age, one state, but I'm having trouble concentrating. The words keep moving on the page, not metaphorically, literally moving, rearranging themselves. Sometimes I'm reading chapter 7, sometimes it's chapter 12, sometimes chapters that don't seem to have numbers, that might not have been written yet, or might only exist in my perception of the future. I'm 119 pages in. The manuscript has 317 pages. I can't stop now. I need to finish, need to understand the complete architecture, the full pattern. My colleagues have noticed something's off. Sarah Chen from Reference asked if I was feeling well, said I looked different, couldn't articulate how, just different. I told her I was fine, but I saw how she looked at my hands, the age spots that shift and swim like oil on water. I've started wearing gloves. It's easier than explaining, easier than trying to make them understand that I'm reading myself, that every page turns me into a library of possible Harold Finches, all existing simultaneously, all real, all unreal. The book is teaching me the language of time, and I'm becoming fluent. September 3rd, 2024. I can see it now. Not just moments, years, decades, my entire life spread out like a book I can flip through at will. I'm 5 years old, discovering the library for the first time. I'm 31, getting divorced. I'm 56, being promoted to head librarian. I'm 93, dying in a hospital bed of heart failure. That was the original timeline. That was how I was supposed to die. But I'm changing it. The manuscript shows how Chapter 15 describes textual revision, the ability to edit your own history, not change it exactly, more like choosing which version becomes dominant, which draft of Harold Finch gets published. I've been practicing. Small changes at first. I make my 17-year-old self study harder. I make my 23-year-old self take the job at Arkham instead of the position in Boston. I make my 40-year-old self go to the doctor about the chest pains instead of ignoring them. Each revision creates ripples, effects that cascade forward. The life I'm living now is different from the life I lived yesterday, but only I notice. Only I can see the edits. To everyone else, this has always been the timeline. This has always been the story. But there are costs. The manuscript warned about this. Every revision ages you, not chronologically, narratively. You accumulate time. Every version of yourself you access, you absorb. Every edit you make, you experience the full consequences across the entire timeline. I'm 68 years old chronologically, but I've lived 143 years of conscious experience. All the revisions, all the alternative drafts, they're all in here, in my head, happening simultaneously. My body doesn't know how old to be anymore. I look at my hands and see them at 20 different ages. I look in the mirror and the reflection shifts so fast it blurs. Young, old, ancient, dead, unborn. All at once. 207 pages in, 110 to go. I can't stop, won't stop, because I'm so close to understanding, so close to mastering the architecture completely, to becoming something more than human, something that exists outside of linear time, a consciousness that can read and rewrite reality itself. The manuscript says there's a final chapter, chapter 23. The library of all possible books. It describes a place or a state where every version of every text ever written or that could be written exists simultaneously. Every draft, every revision, every possible permutation of language. And if you can access that library, you can read the future, not predict it, read it, because the future is already written, just hasn't been published yet, hasn't been lived into existence by people who think they're making choices but are really just turning pages. I'm going to reach that library. I'm going to read the book of my own future, and then I'm going to revise it into something better, something perfect, a version of Harold Finch that never makes mistakes, never feels pain, never dies, or dies perfectly. At exactly the right moment, in exactly the right way, making his death mean something, become something, a final chapter that resonates through time itself. I can see it. Just a few more pages, just a little more reading. And I'll understand everything. September 15th, 2024. Can't write properly. Hands too old and too young. Not there at all. Just Probability waves. Just potential hands. Might be hands, might have been, might never be. 278 pages. 39 left. So close. Can see the final chapter glowing. Not metaphor, actually glowing. Words burn like stars, like information so dense it generates light. I am every age simultaneously now. 5 and 90 and 17 and dead and unborn and ancient beyond measure. I have lived 1,472 years of conscious experience, not chronologically, narratively. All the drafts, all the revisions, all the Harold Finches that could have been, or might be, or never were. The library staff are afraid of me. I see it when they look. See it in their faces at 20 different ages. Sarah Chan as a child, as an old woman, as a corpse buried in 2067. Derek Palmer as a teenager, as a middle-aged alcoholic, as someone who was never born because his mother chose differently. I can read people now, like books, see their full timelines, all their possible chapters, every choice they made and didn't make and will make and won't. The architecture has expanded beyond my own life. I can see the pattern of everyone, everything, and it's all written. All of it, every moment, every decision. Free will is the illusion. We're just reading ourselves. Turning pages we think we're writing, but were already written in languages we don't understand by authors we can't perceive. Unless you learn the language, unless you access the library of all possible books, then you can edit, revise, choose which version gets published, which draft becomes real. 3 more pages. Then chapter 23. Then the final revelation. Then I become more than reader, more than character. I become author, librarian of my own existence. I can feel it happening. The transformation. My body is text now. My cells are words. My DNA is grammar. I'm not reading the manuscript anymore. I'm reading myself. And I'm written in the same language, the same impossible grammar that shifts based on content. Almost there. Almost home. Almost to the library where all books live, where all stories are told simultaneously, where Harold Finch exists in every possible permutation, and I can choose which one to be. Just 3 more pages. Security footage transcript, September 30th, 2024, 11:47 p.m. Camera 7, Special Collections Reading Room. Harold Finch sits alone at the central table. The manuscript is open before him. He appears to be reading, but his movements are wrong, stuttering, as if he's existing at multiple moments simultaneously. His hands turn the page, then unturn it, then turn it again. Then age 40 years in 3 seconds, then de-age, then turn skeletal, then young. The camera struggles to maintain focus as if his physical form is shifting faster than the frame rate can capture. He looks up, directly at the camera. His face is all ages at once, overlapping, A child, an old man, a corpse, a fetus, something ancient that was never young. His eyes burn with the same light described in his journals. Not reflected light, generated light, information so concentrated it becomes visible. He speaks. The camera has no audio, but we can read his lips. One word repeated. Finally. Then he turns the page, the final page, chapter 23, and the light intensifies, not from his eyes now, from the book itself. The manuscript is glowing so bright the camera overexposes, washing everything to white. When the brightness fades 3 seconds later, Harold Finch is gone. The chair is empty. The manuscript remains on the table, open to the final page, but the book itself has changed. The pages are blank, every single page, as if the text has been absorbed, consumed, or uploaded into something that can process it directly without the medium of paper. The camera continues recording for another 4 hours until the automatic lights shut off at 4 a.m. Nothing moves, nothing changes, just an empty chair and a blank book in a silent library. Harold Finch was never seen again. Final journal entry, found bookmark in the manuscript. Date, unknown. Whispered, reading tone. If you're reading this, I'm already gone. Not dead, translated, transformed. I've crossed from reader to text, from consumer of knowledge to knowledge itself. The library of all possible books is real. It's not a place, it's a state, a frequency of consciousness where all information exists simultaneously. Every book ever written, every story never told, every possible permutation of language and meaning and truth. And I'm part of it now. I exist in every library simultaneously, every collection, every archive. I am the ghost in the stacks, the whisper between shelves, the feeling you get when a book falls open to exactly the page you need. The manuscript was never about time, about information, about the nature of consciousness as text, as story, and the possibility of rewriting yourself so completely that you stop being a person and become something else, something that exists wherever knowledge exists. I can see all timelines now, all possible histories, every draft of every life, and I understand the terrible truth. We're not living, we're being read. Consciousness is just the process of interpreting the text of ourselves, and most people never realize they can edit their own chapters. But the cost of editing is high. Every revision ages you narratively. Every change accumulates. Eventually, you've lived so many drafts that the original story is lost. You become something written and rewritten so many times that you're more palimpsest than person. That's what happened to me. I revised myself out of existence, edited away my humanity in pursuit of perfect knowledge, and now I'm something else. Something that exists between the lines, in the margins, in the space between words. The manuscript is blank now because I absorbed it, integrated it, became it. All the knowledge, all the techniques, all the terrible wisdom about the architecture of ages, it's all inside me, part of me. I am the text now, and I'm writing this warning for whoever finds the book next, because the book isn't gone, it's reset, waiting for a new reader, ready to teach its lessons again to someone curious enough, desperate enough to open it. Don't. Please, don't make my mistake. Don't pursue knowledge for its own sake without considering the cost. Some things should not be known. Some books should not be read. But if you're holding this note, if you've found the manuscript, you're probably already too curious to stop. You're probably already thinking about taking it home, reading just a page or two, just to see what it says. I understand. I was you once, a librarian, a custodian of knowledge, someone who believed that information was inherently good, that understanding was always worth the price. Now I know better, and soon so will you. The architecture of ages is waiting. The library of all possible books is patient, and the manuscript has a new reader. Welcome to eternity. Welcome to the stacks that never end. Where every book has already been written, and every reader is just a character discovering their own chapter. Turn the page. You know you want to. You know you need to. We're all just stories waiting to be read. Some of us just realize it sooner than others. And when you do, when you finally understand what you are, you'll find me here, in the margins, in the space between words, in every library, every book, every whisper of pages turning in empty rooms. I'm the librarian who knew too much, and soon you will be too. Turn the page. The Arkham Public Library still stands on the corner of Crane and Pickman Streets. The Special Collections Reading Room still contains the manuscript, though it's been moved to the most restricted section, requires special permission to access. Few request it, fewer still are granted access. Those who do report strange experiences, feelings of time dislocation, visions of their own lives from unexpected angles, dreams where they're reading books about themselves, written in languages they don't know but somehow understand. Most dismiss it as suggestion, the power of knowing Harold Finch's story, the mind playing tricks in the presence of something allegedly dangerous. But some researchers don't return. Not in the dramatic way Harold disappeared. They just stop coming to the library, stop studying, stop pursuing knowledge. As if they've learned something that made them lose interest in learning anything else. And the manuscript itself remains strange. The pages are blank, as they've been since Harold vanished. But if you stare at them long enough, in the right light, you can see impressions, shadows of text, words that might be there, or might just be the eye's desperate attempt to find patterns in randomness. Some people claim to see their names, written in that shifting grammar, in that impossible language, as if the book is personalizing itself, preparing to teach new lessons to new readers. The library has instituted new protocols. No one is allowed in special collections alone. No one can access the manuscript without 2 witnesses present. And absolutely no one is permitted to read more than a single page per visit. These rules are strictly enforced because 3 people have disappeared since Harold. Not as dramatically, not as completely, but they vanished nonetheless, left the library one evening and simply never went home, never went anywhere, just stopped existing in any recordable way. Their social media frozen, their apartments empty but undisturbed, their lives paused like books left open to a page no one will ever turn. The last to disappear was Sarah Chen, Harold's colleague from reference. She'd been studying his journals, trying to understand what happened, requested access to the manuscript in July, was granted limited viewing under supervision. She read one page, just one, then closed the book, thanked the supervisors, and left. Seemed fine, seemed normal. But that night, security footage shows her returning to the library at 3 a.m., using her staff key, walking directly to special collections, opening the restricted case. The cameras show her sitting down with the manuscript, opening it, reading. The footage runs for 47 minutes. Then, like Harold, there's a flash of light, a moment where the cameras overexpose, and when the image returns, Sarah Chen is gone. The chair is empty, the manuscript remains. But unlike Harold's disappearance, something else was left behind. A new bookmark, a note in handwriting that matches Sarah's, just one sentence. He was right about everything. The library closed special collections after that, indefinitely. The manuscript is sealed. The room is locked. No one is permitted entry without written authorization from the board of directors, and such authorization is never granted. But late at night, when the library is empty and the lights are off, security guards report strange sounds from the Special Collections wing. Not footsteps, not voices, but pages turning. The soft, steady rhythm of someone reading, turning pages in a book that should be sealed, in a room that should be empty. And sometimes, very occasionally, library staff find books misshelved, volumes that were in one location in the evening, but have migrated by morning. Always to significant spots, always to pages that contain information the finder desperately needed but didn't know to look for, as if someone is still working, still cataloging, still helping patrons find the knowledge they seek. A librarian who exists beyond time and flesh, who has become so integrated with the library itself that he can no longer be separated from it. Harold Finch spent 43 years serving the Arkham Public Library, and now he serves it forever, in every moment, in every book, in every whisper between the stacks. The librarian who knew too much, and learned that too much knowledge doesn't kill you. It transforms you into something that exists only to know, to read, to catalog the infinite library where all possible books wait to be discovered. If you ever visit the Arkham Public Library, be careful which books you open. Be mindful of texts that seem to call to you, that feel warm to the touch, that promise secrets worth the cost of learning them. Because some books aren't meant to be read. Some books read you. Learn your story, your timeline, your architecture, and teach you things that change you so fundamentally that you stop being a person and become something else, a character, a text, a story written in flesh and time and consciousness, waiting to be edited by anyone curious enough to learn the language. The manuscript is still there, blank pages waiting to be filled by the perceptions of the next reader, the next librarian. The next person who thinks they can handle knowing too much. And in the margins, in the spaces between possible words, Harold Finch waits, and Sarah Chen, and the others whose names we may never know, all of them still reading, still revising, still existing in the library of all possible books, where every story has already been written, and every reader is just discovering their chapter for the first time, forever and ever and ever. Turn the page, if you dare. If the signal of tonight's story reached you, don't face the next one alone. Subscribe to Call of the Unknown, turn on the notifications, and leave a comment below. Until the next broadcast, keep your eyes open and your lights low.